Hello everybody, remember me? Excuse me, I'm being sarcastic, of course. It's been about a month, and I'm not going to come up with excuses of why it takes me so long to do these videos. They are time consuming, and my lifestyle does not permit for me to do a video like this every week. And as you can tell, they get a little bit more exotic each one that I do, so hence more time consuming. And I think I've said this before, but I don't have people filming me, I don't have people editing for me. I do everything from the start to finish. So it takes a very long time, and so therefore I can't throw a video up like I used to in the beginning when I did have someone helping me every week. So I hope that the content that I do give you is good enough to hold off to when I can get to doing another one. And I've received so many very lovely comments. Thank you so much for enjoying and for letting me know that you do enjoy them. And I get some sexy comments. I'm not going to say that they're vulgar or that I'm offended by them. I'm sure that it's all in good fun, and so I don't take them down because they're not grotesque. But, you know, and I'm a woman who doesn't want to be told she's sexy, especially at my age. So I do get some comments that are, you know, I would say a little flirtatious, but that's okay. Like I said, it's all in good fun. This here is just another Egyptian or Arabian makeup look. You can see that I don't know what you call these things, and I'm not going to call it the wrong thing, so I'm going to say my shawl is all gold, and I don't have it on any particular way. It's just over my head. And this time I've got some hair showing, which you'll notice I did not do in my other videos. So this is more of a freestyle type of thing, and something I put together and thought it looked nice with the makeup arrangement that I put together. And as you'll see in the video, there's about 5 or 6 different colors in this eye look. It's a half cut crease with glitter, and of course the Arabian style eyeliner, which my eyeliner dried up on me, so I had to really struggle with it. And then these long lashes. I want to mention something about lashes. It's the same rule that applies with eyebrows. Your eyes are not symmetrical, and people think that when you don't have them both exactly the same that you've made a mistake. You haven't made a mistake. You can't put makeup on both sides of your face exactly the same. Your cheeks are not even symmetrical. I find that this cheek is slightly higher than this cheek. It really is. And it's just our, you know, one side of our body is not exactly symmetrical with the other side of the body, and that down to your feet. And so what you do on one side, you'll find you have to do slightly different on the other side, so that, you know, you can get it as close as possible. So you'll see that I've got one lash, and this is because if I don't do this, it's going to glue the top of my lid to the bottom of my lid. And on this side, I've got my lids a lot closer together at the ends than I do on this side. So I lifted it more than I would have this side. It's not a mistake. I have to put on my lashes that way, or I'll have my eyes stuck together, and that would be highly uncomfortable. And that's true with anything you're doing, from eyeshadow to brows. Your face is not symmetrical, so you just have to get a little creative to get it as close as you can to the other side. Having said that, the colors that I used are more like in the, I have this palette that I have not used much because it's mostly matte brown, more like earth tone colors, and so I don't use it that much. So I sort of included something that would be earth tony at the same time, kind of exotic. Um, what's the best way I can describe that? So using the matte collection that I have from Morphe, I have the Morphe earth tone palette. I took some browns out of there and mixed them with some glittery or shimmery oranges and reds, and those are on my lid. And then up here I sort of copied that, but in a much less intense way, as to blend all the seams and still have the same color scheme going on. And then of course on the brow, a nice highlight, one on the cheek, a dark lipstick, sort of two-toned, or what people would call the same thing you do with your hair. The word escapes me. It always does when I'm talking about this. So when you want to do your hair in two-tone colors, it's the same thing you can do with your lips, and it's a very in thing. So you'll see there's some red, bright red in the middle, and some like ruby brownish red on the ends of the lip. And you guys know what I'm talking about. What is it when they... I hate it when this happens to me, and it always happens to me on camera. But it's the two-tone look where you just have, you know, some highlights or two colors in your hair or in your lipstick or even in your eyeshadow. It's very in, and you'll see I do this a lot. And also, you know, a little, you know, like I said, jewelry, and just to make it more Egyptian or Arabian like. As you'll see in my previous videos, I talk about how much I like their makeup. I still do, and I'm still very much into trying to create looks. These are created by me, they're not copied, but they're inspired by their, I say, their way of applying makeup, which is different than our way. And I think that is it. I show you everything that I used in the video. I don't think I have anything that's new aside from this lip liner here, and it's like a reddish pink. Exaggerate by Rimmel, and again it's a reddish pink. I also have a very like fuchsia type of pink, same thing, Rimmel. And the lipstick here by Hard Candy, which again is like a brownish red, like a ruby brownish red. It's got definitely some brown in it and definitely some red, and it's called, I can see here, if you guys are interested, Prowler. And other than that, I think that pretty much covers. I use some glitter, and you don't have to pay $8 for glitter. You can go and grab some glitter glue. It's got its own adhesive inside. It takes a few minutes to dry, but it's about $1 each bottle, and it's skin friendly. There's nothing, as a matter of fact, it is created so that it has no hypoallergenic. It has no allergens or anything that can be toxic to the skin. So that's the type of glitter that I use. You can get them in tubes, and like I said, they're 99 cents. They do the same job. So that's it. I hope you guys like it, and until next time, thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, so getting right into it, I do the pencil technique, and I use both Maybelline pencils. Actually, I'm sorry, those are by LA Colors, a black and a brown one. But first I go in and I put on my base for my eyes, and that is a concealer by NYX. I use all the time. You guys are probably familiar with it. And a concealer brush. Any concealer brush will do. Well, that's by Echo Tools. And even under the eye, and that's because I'm going to be putting the same shadows that I'm going to put on the top on the bottom. So then I'm going to start here with defining the shape, and that's what I use the pencil technique for, and also to provide another base, a dark base for the ends of the eye. And then a very small brush, and that is by Elf, the tiny little brush that I'm using here. You'll notice the brows are done. I did those off camera, and I used the Maybelline Brow Define, also a powder by LA Colors, both brown shades. I never do my brows in black. It looks ridiculous. So here with the brown one, you're continuing to get that shape in, and then with the brush, just blending out all the ridges and spreading out the color. And that's going to help define the ends of my eyes, and also provide a dark base for the shadows that are going to go there, which, as I mentioned in my intro, are going to be from the Morphe Earthtones palette. I was going to put on some music for you guys, but I couldn't find anything that I really liked, so I'll just talk this through. You see, once again, there's a lot of light bouncing off of my face, and that's because there are makeup lights right on top of me. Just ignore that. It's the best way that when I don't have natural light coming out of a window, I know how to put on my makeup. As you can see, everything, every little detail. So for me, the makeup lights are important, but they kind of like bounce off of my forehead, so that's what you see there. It's not sweat, it's just a lot of light. And as you can see, I'm blending that, and I'm going to take the black one, which I think I already did. Yes, I did. And I use that under the brown, not right on top of it, but just right under it for more definition as to where my crease is going to be. And this here, you guys are going to think I'm nuts, is the same lip liner I'm going to use later. This is a red, and this is by Rimmel. And that's going to provide the base for the red eyeshadow that's going to go there later. It's just going to make it more punchy and give it more of a vibrance, because as I mentioned a million times, camera and video tends to take away color. So when you're doing these videos, you have to get a little bit creative to get the colors to stay punchy, just like they look in the palette, as much as possible. And so onto the brow bone, and I'm picking the lightest colors, and they're all matte, out of the Morphe palette. And then I'm going to combine those two caramel colors on the bottom to go over the pencil and provide me with a transition shade. So that's going to really like go around and over at the same time. So obviously there'll be the lightest colors aside from the brow bone colors in the palette. And then with that purpley plummy, it's also got a little bit of brown in it. I'm going over the ridges of the pencil. And then I'm taking this Elf Fluffy brush and blending everything out, just so that the ridges are nice and smooth and there are no harsh lines. So this small placement brush, and that's a generic brush, I'm taking a really dark, it's a cross between burgundy and brown, and then again blending that out. And that's just all for these are all my definition shades. I'll be going in now with a black, and with the same little shader brush, more into the eye. So the darker the color, the more into the eye I place it, and right under where I put my crease line. And I took some more of this red, and I'm blending these colors right into one another. So right where the browns and the blacks end, I start the red, and I actually go into the brown and the black with that, and then vice versa. I'm going to take the brown and the black and go over that a little bit, right on the edges of the red, so that you don't see where one color starts and the other color ends. And then this is the Milk Jumbo Pencil by NYX, and I'm going to put that down so I can put the orange, which is like a sherbet color, and it comes from a Profusion palette that I have, where I have all like glittery, shimmery shades. And back in, I do this several times, of course, and then I go over it. And the red that I'm using is from that Profusion palette, which I will show you in a second. And so is the orange, both shimmery shades. And then I take another very shimmery shade and go back to the very arch of my brow bone and apply that up there. And then here goes the sherbet. You see I'm using the same placement brush or the shader brush. I keep cleaning it. So I have a little sponge on my basin, which is where I'm sitting in my bathroom, and I use it to clean my brush in between each color. So you don't have to use, 4 different brushes to do this. And then going under the eye with the same lip liner. This is a lip liner. You do not need to buy a special eye colored pencil for this. Because once you put the powder on, you're going to set it. So it works exactly the same. And I know it seems a little crazy, but it works like a dream. As you can see. I actually think the lip liners are a lot more creamy and are better for laying down than the actual eye colored pencils. And then I'm going over the ridge again with that a combination of the red shimmery color and a very light one of my transition shades right there on the third color from side down to blend out all of the ridges. And then doing the same thing on the bottom with each color. And this is a black I'm going to line the end of the eye with. And then I go over that with e.l.f. gel, which I start with, and then an e.l.f. liquid liner. And that's an e.l.f. eyeliner brush, but before that I had an actual paint brush. I use both. And like I mentioned in my intro, this liner, this gel was really old, so I had to keep microwaving it to get it to soften up so I can use it. So it was quite the process. And then going over that with the liquid, and that's how I get my point, because this brush here is so thin, you can see it is so tiny that I'm able to get a nice little sharp point in the inner eye. And this is a purple eyeliner by LA Colors, and I'm just in between the 2 wings, because I have a double wing. I thought that looked really pretty in between the double wing. And I didn't mention that right in the inner corner of the eye I have a highlight, and that also comes from the Profusion palette. It's like a silvery, shimmery shade. And then on the bottom, I went in with some mascara. On the top, I also use mascara, and that's just because I like to have it on for the lashes. This here is also the glitter application, top and bottom, flirty, and that's from the bottle I showed you. And into the face, I am using an e.l.f. product to do my, what is it called, cleaning of the face, or as a base. There's 3 colors. I have them all. I'm using the white one. And then I'm going in with my favorite foundation as of late, and a kabuki brush. And that is the medium beige shade. It's the Lumi Cushion. And with a translucent NYC powder, I'm going to set that. I'm also going to set my concealer with that. That's an e.l.f. Kabuki brush I'm using. And again, with the only concealer I ever use, and that's the Glamouflage by Hard Candy, in the lightest shade that they have. And a blender, a makeup blender, or a wedge. And then here is my highlighting, and that is a fan brush. Just a generic one I have. It's the oldest one I've got. It still works like a dream, and I use it all the time. So what those things are is just little pearls, and there's different shades of highlight. And I would recommend very highly that you buy this because it looks beautiful. And then with an e.l.f. Contour color, I'm contouring. That's a generic contour brush. And then I'm going to take a lighter shade, same product, and do a tiny bit of bronzing. There it is. Also by e.l.f. And that's an e.l.f. brush that I use for getting a little, I also will use that for blush. By getting a little color on the face. So I'm doing just a little bit of bronzing here. And then I didn't show it to you, but I use a very dark plummy blush, and that's a blush brush. Right on the cheek, and I take that back because I don't like to look like a doll. It's a very dark plummy color. It's very pretty by NYC. And then on to the lips. And as I explained in my intro, I use a red. It's like a reddish pink lip liner. It's the same thing I used on the eyes. I cleaned it, and I'm using it here on my lips. And then with the dark, and I would say like a berry red by Hard Candy, because it's got just as much red as brown. It's very much like a ruby type of color. And then with a bright red by I believe it's Rimmel, and it's the Kate Moss line. Right there. And if it's not Rimmel, then it's the Milan. But I believe it's one of those two. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll try to get one up again as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. See you soon.